Welcome in, YouTube, to part 2 of Morrighan Initari's adventures through Shadowbringers. In this part, we do the level 71 dungeon. Does it go smoothly? Do I die a lot? I don't know, you'll have to watch to find out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let me know how you're enjoying these videos and all of that good stuff. And you can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/CalebGames here, where I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, usually starting between 9 and 10 a.m. Pacific time. I love you, YouTube, and I'll see you in a bit. Alright, time to get to it. The Light Wardens. Is it going to be voice acted, do you think? We'll find out in a second.
And so you return. Have you gained a better understanding of the crisis now faced by the First?
Better is not the word I would use.
But we
Some
have
lands
gained
may have been spared the flood, but the survivors live only to suffer. There seems no end to the horrors inflicted by the Sin Eaters.
Indeed. Those abominations are a calamity in their own right. And I can well imagine how hopeless the task of eradicating them must seem to you. But after countless battles and untold sacrifice, we have identified a potential weakness. Sin Eaters are drawn to serve the strongest of their kind, a class of creature we call Light Wardens. And from what we have been able to ascertain, only a handful of these entities exist. Just as an ant colony will perish in the absence of its queen, we believe that the death of a Light Warden will cause the lesser creatures within its sphere of influence to disperse.
I have a feeling Yulmul might have something to say about any concerted action we take against these monsters. Vorthra's command over the Sin Eaters is integral to Yulmoran society. In seeming to guarantee his people's safety, it guarantees their obedience. He will not take kindly to us depriving him of such useful allies.
Agreed.
True.
Thus we will need to occupy or otherwise divert his forces whilst we proceed with the business of eliminating the Wardens. Until we have done so, all other considerations must be set aside if we are to forestall the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Yeah, we'll ask if he's sure.
Your uncertainty is understandable given the circumstances. Perhaps a more detailed explanation is in order. To begin at the beginning, then.
Holy shit, it's like Final Fantasy VII. In Bugenhagen's place at the Cosmo Canyon.
In the ancient past, a single star was divided into 14 worlds. This is the source, your home. These others are the 13 shards, in whose number we find the first. Though physically separate, they retain a connection to each other, and with the source especially. Now, let us assume that a given element in one of the shards attains abnormal ascendancy. Just as water will flow from the highest point to the lowest, the excess energy will begin trickling into the source. And such an influx of ether will of course exert a palpable influence. If the element in question were fire, then drought and wildfires might ensue. If it were ice, one might expect the weather to turn bitterly cold. As ether continues to pour in, such phenomena will become more and more extreme, until eventually, a single, untimely event triggers a disaster which cracks the barrier dividing the two worlds. What was once a trickle now becomes a deluge, sweeping the shard along to be rejoined with the source. At the same time, the element which held sway in the shard is unleashed in full, its energies amplifying the original disaster to truly catastrophic proportions. An earthquake thus magnified might strike with enough force to shatter continents. A tidal wave might swell to a size capable of drowning entire nations. These devastating events are what we refer to as umbral calamities. 7 times has a calamity befallen the source. 7 times has a shard been absorbed.
Yep, there's the 13th with its darkness. The 2nd was a fire. The 3rd looks like it might have been earth. Yeah. 4th was wind. 5th was ice. 6th, 7th, 8th. The 9th was water. Sixth was darkness.
At present, the light-drowned realm of the first stands perilously close to meeting the conditions for a rejoining. It is the Sin Eaters who are to blame for the light's continued dominance.
Okay.
In addition to attracting their lesser kin, the Light Wardens I mentioned earlier radiate ether, saturating every corner of their territory with light. Even here in the flood-spared region of Norvrant, their influence is strong enough to banish night from the sky. Thus, if we are to restore balance to the first and head off a potential calamity, it is imperative that we put each and every Light Warden to the sword.
Okay.
We've been doing our best to take the fight to the enemy ever since we first heard the Exarch's explanation.
Though we have yet to claim any meaningful victories if truth be told. Apart from being confoundingly elusive, the Light Wardens possess a troublesome quality which compelled us to delay our plans until such time as you arrived.
Forgive the interruption, my lord, but Holminster Switch is requesting reinforcements.
Okay.
They say the Sin Eaters are attacking in force, and the village could soon be overrun.
Let's fucking go then. Morrighan is ready.
Alert the guard. We should be prepared in case the fighting reaches the Crystarium. You have command of our forces in the field, Captain, but hold off on entering the town until I arrive. That goes for Alphino and Alize as well.
My lord.
Pray, lend us your strength. Such a fight will provide you with far greater insight than any explanation I could offer.
Okay. Bum bum ba-da. Holminster Switch is in the north of Lakeland, so we had best make haste with our preparations. In fact, meet me outside the Crystarium at the crossroads northwest of the Ascensor Gate, and I shall lead you there myself. Okay. Look at him just standing out here all alone. All set? If we follow this road north, we will arrive at the northern staging point. The village itself lies not far beyond. Quickly now. Right. Holminster Switch is past these gates and through the woods. 'Tis not exactly a near neighbor to the Crystarium, but as we occupy the same region, we have built up something of a cooperative relationship. What can we expect inside, Captain? The town is beset by a swarm unlike any we have seen in recent years. We did our best to evacuate the villagers, but as many as half remain. Judging by the number of Eaters present, we have good reason to believe that a Light Warden leads the attack. How convenient. It seems we'll have a chance to slay a warden sooner than we expected. One does not simply slay a warden. Has no one told you what happens if you defeat one of those fiends? They hold more light inside them than all of their underlings put together. It can be struck down, aye, but its essence won't dissipate like the weaker kind. Vile ether will billow outwards and envelop the nearest living being, a reckless young swordswoman perhaps, and turn her into a brand new warden. Ah, well, you can leave that particular quandary to us. I must ask that the gods stand down and allow us to engage this leader of eaters alone. Concentrate on the survivors. We must save every life we can. But what if... Understood, my lord. As a captain of the guard, however, I will not watch you brave such danger without an escort from our ranks. I insist that I go with you. Very well. Then our warden slaying party shall include myself, the Leviers, Captain Lena, and last but not least, you. I am ready. A formidable group indeed. Into Holminster we go. Once we reach the Light Warden, do not hold back. We strike to kill. Hell yeah. And just like that, we're at the first dungeon of Shadowbringers. Let's see what we can do. That just so we can have some food. Ideally we do this with a party of other players, so all right. Let's see what we can do. This first pull is usually a little scary, but honestly, it's feeling pretty freaking fine. All my mitigations are now on cooldown, except for my invul. And those are the hardest pulls of the dungeon, so we're pretty good. I also now just realized that this boss, like, obviously it's the same one from Honorong that turned Tesleen, but I never realized that she also is missing her wing. Like, they kept that little detail between then and now. Ooh! That almost felt like it might have got a little spicy, but it didn't. Oh, I'm slowed. I forget who it is that applies the slow debuff. But goddamn, does it suck. I think it's the gremlins, actually, that apply the slow debuff. We got more loot for me to roll on. I'm just gonna greed on it unless it's fending gear. And now we have our poor fight against Teslee. Everything's still on cooldown, so for a first dungeon of an expansion, this one does hit pretty fucking hard. This is a fun fight when you run it as a trust, simply because if you bring Alice, like, there's actual dialogue between, like, what Alice says as you run the dungeon, and I think, like, Tesleen even is like, Alice, forgive me, kind of thing. Let me get everyone facing the other direction from y'all. It is a little bit annoying how you have to run these as single pulls, though. Like, that part kind of sucks a little bit. Alright. Let's see this boss. Philia. The, partially heartless looking thing. Who are we chaining, though? Then it has a spin move, which should be coming up in a second, I think. Or this guy. Maybe it's after this one. Does it not do the spin move anymore? There it is. GG, y'all. Now we get to see what happens when a Light Warden is absorbed. I I strongly
It's
feel.
releasing its ether! Fall back!
That's what I was gonna say. I strongly feel like this one has voice acting.
We cannot let it touch us! Quickly, my lord, we must withdraw!
That will not be necessary, Captain. Though I appreciate your concern. The eternal light of these creatures has confounded us for nigh on 100 years. For each we have put down, another has risen up in its place, born of the self-same ether relinquished by its predecessor. But now we have a way to contain that corruption. The blessing of light, and the hero who wields it now stands before you. Behold, the monster's power is broken, and the world, twisted by its touch, returns to its rightful form.
Nighttime has fallen.
It's gone. It can't be.
What's happening?
It's so beautiful.
The sunless sea. The warrior of darkness has come.
You mean we become what Ardbert said he was in the source? Oh, so poetic.
Is that what I think it is?
The night sky. As it should be.
Who are you people? You killed a warden, then bathed in its ether as if it were a spring shower, and now the sky? The legends are true. My lord?
How many years have I waited for this moment? For the one possessed of her blessing. For you. You have vanquished the Light Warden of Lakeland, and for the first time in a century, darkness has returned to the mantle of night. Without the ever-present light to sustain them, the Sin Eaters will have no choice but to retreat. Yet our victory is far from complete. Though darkness has fallen here, the other wardens yet bask beneath burning skies, feasting upon what little life remains. Even should it cost me all I have, I would see each and every one of them slain, that this world might be spared from oblivion. Not only for the first, but for the source as well. Save one, and we save the other. But, be that as it may, I concede it was wrong of me to summon you to this fight against your will.
Damn right.
I swear, on my life, I will one day atone for that deed. But for the present, I beg you stay and see this fight to its conclusion. Cast down the wardens and restore darkness to the first.
Hey, it's our pal! It seems I've no choice but to fight.
On behalf of the first, I offer you my deepest thanks.
I understand there is much at stake here, Exarch, but why do you risk yourself so readily? It must have been a dangerous drain on your ether to summon even one person across the rift.
I do it for my people, of course. To give the Crystarium the tomorrow it deserves.
That is true now, yes, but the city had yet to be built when you first called forth the Crystal Tower. I'm simply curious to know what prompted you to commit yourself so completely to this particular course.
There are things which we can ill afford to lose. And I sensed from the first that I had a part to play in preserving them. Forgive me. I fear the events of the day may have taken their toll. Despite appearances, I am an old man. One burdened with many difficult memories, some too painful to recall.
Well then, I'm sorry for pressing you. It's a family failing, I'm afraid.
She's not wrong.
One which has served us well more often than not. Needless to say, we will continue to fight at your side until the last Senator is defeated.
Come then, my warriors of darkness. Let us gather the surviving villagers and make our way back to the Crystarium.
How quickly you have justified my faith in you. So many lives saved, and the sky itself heralds your success. A single victory in a larger struggle, perhaps, but a momentous one nonetheless. Now, as for how we proceed from here, the villagers we evacuated earlier have arrived safely in the Crystarium. They seem to be accepting their situation for the moment. Most folk are far too distracted by the sky to worry about wounds or lost homes. They whisper and wonder if the Warrior of Darkness has come. 'Tis to be expected. Morrighan, I must ask a favor of you. Would you be so kind as to conceal your involvement in this endeavor for the time being? Seeing the light recede from Lakeland is a momentous occasion, and many will be swept up in a maelstrom of excitement and confusion. Should you come forth as the legendary Warrior of Darkness, I fear that no matter how good your intentions, such an appearance would throw the city into disarray. I find myself in agreement with the Exarch, although my concerns are more focused on Yulmore. It may be best if you maintain a low profile until we see how Volthree responds to all of this. My thanks. Though we cannot freely celebrate your success, Pray allow your heart to be buoyed by the joy of our citizens, a joy you surely brought into being. Ah, and I must ask the same discretion of you, Captain. 'Tis my intention to share with our people the tale of a great warrior who stood in defiance of the Sin Eaters. This unnamed champion defeated the Light Warden and has since departed for parts unknown, yes? As you wish, my lord. Your penchant for mystery is nothing new, and I will encourage folk not to question this either. Although I expect to be told the whole truth of it one day, about all of you. With that settled, I shall return to the Crystarium and make an address to the people. These explanations and adjustments will consume much of my time, so pray take the opportunity to rest and recover from your exploits, and to think you'll not even need to shutter the windows to enjoy a dark and peaceful night's sleep. I must stay behind and coordinate the evacuation of the remaining survivors. And I hesitate to ask after all you've done here today. But could I ask you to pass on a message on your way to the Pendants? Please let Bragi know that we're bringing in a number of injured, and that any restoratives in the markets need to be reserved for the infirmary. You got it. I can do that. I'm actually great at delivering messages. It's how I got my start back in, A Realm Reborn. Message here, message there, message everywhere. You get a message, and you get a message. We should start making our way back to the Crystarium. Slowly, mind you. It wouldn't do to arrive too soon after the exile. I'm staying behind as well. There's something I need to check on in Holminster. We already went through the village top to bottom, Alize. We should all take the chance to rest, you included. I knew one of those eaters, and I can't rest, not now. So please, I wish to be left alone for a while, and that means you as well, Morrighan. I shall be cross if you try to follow me. I promise to find you later, when I feel myself again. Just you and me then, shall we? We shall. Well, the Crystarium seems relatively ordered, wouldn't you say? The Exarch's speech must have been reassuring to hear. On the contrary, there is something jubilant in the air. I have a feeling this night won't be quite as peaceful as our hooded friends predicted. I think I shall take a brief stroll around the town before retiring to my chambers. Once you've discharged your duty to Bragi, I suggest you do the same. Sleep well, Morrighan. I hope untroubled dreams find you and Alize both. Well, that's pretty nice of you, buddy. I appreciate it. Aye, what can I do for you? Look to buy a lantern like every other stumbling soul in the city? No, actually, Lena told me to tell you all restoratives are to be saved for the infirmary. I see. Well, Captain Lena can rest assured that any potions I spot coming in will be set aside for the wounded. Hang on a moment. If you're carrying message for the guard, does that mean you were there then? The battle at Holminster? A stalwart lass like you might want to pay a visit to the Wandering Stairs and make yourself known. I'm sure Glennard can introduce you to some interesting opportunities. Oh, this unlocks, I think, the role quests for Shadowbringers. And so here's my plan with the role quests, because you do have to complete at least one set of them before you can complete Shadowbringers. I plan to record and do those separately, like, obviously this is a recording, but I'll record all of them separate and then post them as one video on YouTube. I don't think I will be doing any of the role quests on stream. This is a cool little bar, actually, though. Like, everything in a circle around the middle. Sayella, more beer for table 2, and a couple of pints of mead for table 3 while you're at it. Coming right up. Sorry, we're rushed off our feet today, miss. Can I get you anything? Drinks are on the house. Oh. Oh, that bra guy has a twisted sense of humor. To think he'd send you to me at a time like this. The first real night in the near 100 years has folk all riled up and then some. What's more, there was that eater business at Holminster Switch. They say a light warden was destroyed without a damn trace, and it was the warrior of darkness who did the deed. I really must apologize for the Glenard. He's been almost as rowdy as our customers, and that's no small feat. A lot of our regulars are bounty hunters, you see. They mostly go after eaters, and the rumor of the warrior's appearance was the spark to their kindling. You know how the weak eaters are drawn to the strong ones, right? Aye, they swarm like angry bees around a queen. You need look no further than Holminster for proof of that. But attacks on that scale don't happen every day, praise the blessed Shadow. No, the more common threats are the strays. No one knows why, but every now and again an eater will leave the pack to prowl alone. Those are the ones you run into on the road if your luck is foul. They're a danger to everyone, so the Settlement Council puts bounties on their heads. And our bar here is a convenient place for hunters to gather and share information. Seems a few of them were inspired by the warden slaying even more than most. These are the types who have their sights set on the absolute worst of the strays, a class of eaters that have been dubbed the Cardinal Virtues. The Virtues showed up out of nowhere about 3 summers ago, and when historians heard the descriptions given by survivors, well, apparently they share an appearance with the villains who caused the flood. And if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, they're also reported to be as tough as light wardens, not the kind of prey you can take down single-handed. Our virtue hunters had all but given up, but knowing the warrior of darkness is out there has lit a fire in their bellies. Just look at them. The Hume over there with the oversized sword is Granson. He's in it for revenge, wants to recruit a comrade in arms as tenacious as he is. The Mistle lad is Lurik. Don't be fooled by those dewy cheeks. He's as hard a hunter as they come. He just lost a partner and it seems to be on the lookout for a new one. He seems to be. That's Sarig. Word is he seeks an expert in magecraft to help fight the virtue he's after. Last we have Giot, dwarf and drunkard both. Wanted to join forces with a healer, and only a healer. Something about needing a mender's wisdom. I've seen my share of competent veterans, and you have that look about you. Maybe you should introduce yourself to one of the hunters. Who knows? Maybe together you might even collect the bounty on a cardinal virtue. Now there's a grand idea. Imagine the prestige my bar would earn if we boasted the patronage of a successful virtue hunter. You have gained access to role quests. Separate quest line is now available for tank, physical DPS, magical DPS, and healer roles. In order to reach the final stages of the Shadowbringers, you must complete at least one of them. That's fine. Like I said, we're going to do those off stream and put them all in one video for YouTube. Welcome back, miss. I wonder if anyone can sleep with the city in such an uproar, but will you be retiring to your quarters? Yes. Very good. In light of the present situation, I have had illumination prepared for all our rooms. No need to rush to the markets for lanterns or candles. Have a pleasant rest, miss.
So it's your lot's turn to be the Warriors of Darkness, is it? It's funny how things work out.
Agreed, Ardbert. Agreed. These are my private quarters, buddy.
Aye, I know. Just the place. In case you've forgotten, you're the only one who can see me. If we had one of our little chats in public, people might start thinking you'd lost your wits.
Valid.
Those white-haired twins who are with you. I remember them from our battle in the Source. Are they your friends then? Through thick and thin?
They are. Well, at least Alizé is.
Aye. Then I suggest you keep them close. It's when you charge ahead trying to save someone else that you end up losing those you love. Not that you need telling, I'll bet you've lost plenty. But I wonder, what will it cost you this time?
Probably my life. But we'll see.
I don't remember when it was that I learned regret wasn't worth the bother. You get numb to it all over the years. The lost comrades, the broken promises, the abandoned principles. And just more nagging burdens to ignore.
Who could this
So
be?
this is what the light was hiding. She's here. I must go to her.
Meanwhile, inside an Imperial Magitech facility in the Source.
Intruders! Fan out and find them! Out of my way!
That's one of the people that was with Gaius.
Stay your weapon. We are not your enemy. When the alarm sounded, I wondered what we had done to betray our presence. But I see now we are not the only intruders. Sir Estinian, I presume. The dragoon who plucked the Warrior of Light from the jaws of death? Your armor is most distinct.
Much as yours once was. But even without it, I see a former legator still has eyes and ears in unexpected places. Van Baelsar, in the flesh. Though I understand you prefer Shadow Hunter.
You are in contact with the Scions, I take it.
Through no choice of my own. They tracked me down and conscripted me to their cause. I swear their receptionist was trained as a spy. Not that anyone can escape that Baldessian woman once she has caught the scent of your ether.
If they have resorted to using freelancers, I must assume their attempts to wake the afflicted have failed. And what of their champion?
Away on other business. Thus, it has fallen to me to root out any trace of the Empire's new weapon.
If it is Black Rose you seek, you are too late. My people have already completed your mission here. Yet this is but one factory among many. When they caught wind of our efforts, they built additional facilities to ensure production continues unabated. There will be no one left in the lands they conquer. No citizens to conscript. No skills to exploit. Nothing the Empire needs. And they will call it victory.
What exactly does this Black Rose do?
The gas is described as a poison, but its actual effect is more arcane in nature. It was created to disrupt the ether in living beings, to bring the flow of their life energies to a standstill. Inhaling even the tiniest amount will cause all bodily functions to cease, much as a potent venom will stop a man's heart. Released over a city, Black Rose could conceivably kill every inhabitant, and all without damaging a single structure.
Search every corner! Rouse the barracks if you have to! I want this facility secured!
I have more questions, but now is not the time.
Sir Estinian, I have an offer for you, but I will make it only once. Since it would seem we seek the same answers, you are welcome to join us.
Huh. From what I hear, you need all the help you can get. In case you don't know, Varys himself confessed that your empire was a creation of the Ascians.
I am aware of what his Radiance said at the parley. Thus I would return to the capital, that I might behold the truth of this corruption with my own eyes. My path leads to Garlemald.
Then perhaps they can work together. Begging your pardons, miss, but do you perchance intend to head outside? If so, I would strongly advise you not stray too far from the Crystarium. Word has it Yulmore has dispatched its military to Lakeland. Given the timing, one can only assume they do not welcome the return of night. Even now, the Exarch is in the Ocular, deliberating a response.
You have come at a good time. As you may have heard, we have something of a quandary on our hands. Laxon Loft, here in Lakeland. Yulmore has sent one of its airships. They have questions for us concerning the death of the Light Warden. Their emissary makes his way here even as we speak.
I suppose the sky does rather give the game away.
True that.
Indeed. 'Twas inevitable they would come knocking. The only question was how soon.
My lord, I am come with a Yulmoran emissary. May I show him in?
Sure, why not?
A moment, Captain, if you would. Everyone, gather round. I do not wish to show our hand prematurely. Forgive me this liberty. Vanish.
Ooh! Now why can't you do this all the time? For sneaking missions.
Enter. Well, well. The commander of the Morrighan army himself. To what do I owe the honor, General Ranjit?
The Light Warden is dead, Exarch. Were your people responsible?
You are clearly in some haste, my lord. But before I address your question, you must allow me one of my own. What is Yulmore's interest in this?
His benevolence, Lord Vorthry, is gravely concerned that the actions of an ignorant few may jeopardize relations between man and Sin-Eater. Should it transpire that the Crystarium is guilty of abetting the villains responsible for this outrage, my lord has decreed that it suffer the same retribution.
I see. Since you have been so candid, I too shall speak my mind. Regardless of who is responsible, the Crystarium rejoices in the Light Warden's death and welcomes the return of the night sky. If Yulmore considers this tantamount to aiding those you term villains, then by all means, carry out your retribution.
Hell yeah, Exarch.
Know, however, that even should every innocent soul in the Crystarium perish, nothing can stop that which has been set in motion.
Folly. The death of one or 1,000,000 Sin-Eaters changes nothing.
Then why do you care
The
about...
world is dead, and writhe as we might, like maggots in its rotting course, it will not be reborn. Only by my master's grace may we live out our days in peace. But I waste my breath. You have made your stance clear. I shall relay your words to Lord Vorthry.
Good.
In the meantime, you would do well to counsel any here who have done more than merely rejoice in recent events, to throw themselves upon Yulmore's mercy, promptly.
How about no?
One last matter. We are searching for a young artist and his assistant. Know you of whom I speak?
An artist and his assistant, no. I cannot say I do.
What a pity. Should they reveal themselves to you, I bid you hand them over at once. My master is most eager to see them again.
He knows. He knows. That's why those words are in parentheses. And why he looks directly at us. He knows. But does Exarch know he knows?
Am I imagining things, or did he just stare straight at us?
I fear he did.
Yep.
The General is not a man to be trifled with. He is a warrior of fearsome repute who has led Yulmore's army since before Vorthry's time, when the nation still spearheaded the fight against the Sin-Eaters. One does not command the world's mightiest army, and for so long, without possessing exceptional instincts.
If Yulmore chose to send such an individual, we must assume this talk of retribution is more than an idle threat. While we are grateful for your support, my lord, we cannot in good conscience put your people in harm's way.
It is noble of you to say, Master Alphino, but my people have been in harm's way since long before you arrived. Yulmore has ever yearned to rule over what remains of the world. Even should we surrender the Warrior of Darkness to them, they would find some other pretext upon which to invade. The people of the Crystarium know this only too well, which is why, when the time comes, I am certain they will fight to the last man. If truth be told, I would not have been surprised had Ranjit declared war here and now.
He may have reason to delay. According to reports, the Yulmoran forces at Laxan Loft were observed taking a prisoner.
Oh?
A young woman believed to be none other than the Oracle of Light, Minfilia.
Holy shit! Then we must move.
It may be that General Ranjit wishes to convey her to Yulmore before commencing hostilities. Having mentored generations of Minfilias, it would not surprise me if he had made her capture his chief concern.
I'm sorry, generations of Minfilias?
Ah, of course. How remiss of me. I had intended to speak to you of Minfilia. There is, however, much to say, and precious little time in which to say it. I think it best that you seek out Morrighan at the Cabinet of Curiosity. He'll be able to enlighten you.
Okay.
Alphino, Alize, would you care to accompany your friend? You doubtless have insights of your own to offer on the matter.
All right. Though I'm still not sure I understand it all myself.
I was gonna say, she seemed just as shocked as I did.
In the meantime, I will set about making provisions for war.
Alphino was the one that didn't seem that surprised. Yes. If you're after books pertaining to the Warrior of Darkness, I'm afraid most are on loan at present. They are experiencing quite a surge in popularity. Oh, you wish to learn about the Oracle of Light? Then it would be my pleasure to assist. After I have finished off some few outstanding tasks, that is. While I attend to them, perhaps you could fetch me a book. The Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light, it's called. Though it's intended for younger readers, it provides an excellent summary of the subject matter, and the artwork is quite lovely besides. I would not hesitate to recommend it to anyone with an interest in learning about Minfilia. But you must see for yourself. The book should be located on the level below. Should I say, for a while there is a place for everything here, not everything is always in its place, despite my best efforts. In short, if the book is not where it should be, it will almost certainly be somewhere it shouldn't, so good luck. Search the shelves! Oh hey, there's a lookout there. Does not appear to be here. Just as your eyes begin to blur, they finally come to rest on a copy of the Illustrated Tale of the Oracle of Light. Hell yeah. Have you found the book? Yes. Yes, this is the one. I hope it wasn't too difficult to track down. I'm happy to say I've finished all my pressing tasks. If you want to call your friends over, we can begin learning at once. Without further ado, then. It began 100 years ago, when the flood of light threatened to swallow Novrot. Just as all seemed lost, a savior appeared, who halted the all-consuming radiance. A maiden with hair of spun gold and eyes of clearest sapphire. Naught was known about her save that her name was Minfilia, and for delivering the realm, she came to be revered as the Oracle of Light. After stopping the flood, the mysterious maiden vanished without a trace, but 15 years later, her name would unexpectedly reappear in the annals of history. When Sin Eaters laid ruin to the kingdom of Vobert, a young girl was discovered who was immune to the creature's blighted touch. One with hair of spun gold and eyes of clear sapphire. She was hailed as the Oracle Reborn and came to likewise be called Minfilia. Enlisting in the Yulmoran army, this Minfilia fought and vanquished countless Sin Eaters. Cool. I kind of want this book, actually. Alas, like so many others soldiers, she eventually met her end in battle. Yet with her dying breath, she whispered unto her grieving comrades, Minfilia will return. And true to her words, some years later another young girl was discovered who possessed the self-same eyes, that self-same hair, and those self-same powers. She too took the name Minfilia. She too fought Sin Eaters as a soldier of Yulmor, and she too fell in battle. Many more were to follow in her footsteps, and so the cycle continues to this day. And that concludes the tale. By their valor and sacrifice, these women have saved Norvrant on numerous occasions. And were it not for them, we might never have learned of the Light Wardens and their nature. They sound like formidable warriors. Some, perhaps. The truth is rather less simple. Though the Oracle is reborn with certain common traits, she does not inherit the memories or the knowledge of her previous incarnations. All of the Minfilias thus far were discovered as ordinary girls, unversed in the ways of war and ignorant of the power they harbored. While some embraced their fate and devoted themselves to training, others did not. But all were made to face the Sin Eaters, and all died to keep our hopes alive. What can you tell us of the current Minfilia? She was found by the Yulmoran army some 10 years ago and taken into their care. Or rather their custody. She was a prisoner in all but name, for by that time under Lord Vothri's rule, Yulmor had already abandoned resistance in favor of decadence. Minfilia was an uncomfortable reminder of the war they no longer wished to fight, a potential threat to the peace, and so they kept her under lock and key. For a long while, we heard nothing more of her. We couldn't even be certain she was alive, save that it was in the Yulmorans' best interest for her to remain under their control. But then, 3 years ago, a gallant soul stole into the city and rescued her from their clutches, just like a hero from the tales. Indeed. Well, I believe we now have a good grasp on Minfilia's tale. Thank you for your time, Morrighan. Might I trouble you for a word, Morrighan? Outside? I guess I'll know. Seems as good a place as any. Ow. As you will have already surmised, the gallant soul who rescued Minfilia was none other than our own dear Thancred. They have since been wandering the land together, never remaining in one place for long, which is why we have not yet had a chance to meet them. We know that Minfilia journeyed here as Heidelin's emissary to halt the flood of light. It could only be her that the people of the First witnessed 100 years ago, the original Oracle of Light. But while there's plainly some connection between the woman we knew and her namesakes, the fact that these girls do not share her memories must surely mean they are not the same person. Thancred has to understand that. I have no doubt that he understands. The question is how he feels. Regardless, the Thancred we know would not forsake his charge. If she has been captured, we may be certain he will not stand idly by. There you go again, talking in your roundabout way. If you think we should rescue Minfilia, just spit it out. It just so happens I agree with you. It's quite clear that this Minfilia possesses Heidelin's blessing. And it wouldn't hurt to have a second such individual on our side. Right, Morrighan? Quite, actually. I'm not going to be like, one's usually been enough, but yeah, I guess. No, I want another one on my side. I see you've made up your minds. Exarch, what brings you here? A report and a proposal. First, the report. Our scouts have confirmed that the Yomoran forces at Loxenloft do indeed have Minfilia in their custody. For the present, they are holding her there, but we can be certain they will move her to Yolmor ere long. Should that happen, we may be forced to give her up as lost. So if we mean to act, we should do so quickly. Which brings me to my proposal. I ask that you entrust this undertaking to us, the people of the Crystarium. Okay. Thanks for watching, YouTube! I hope you enjoyed part 2 of Shadowbringers. Will we save Minfilia next round? Or this new Oracle of Light? Or will she go back to Yulmore? Hopefully, you find out next video, whether it's on stream or on YouTube. But thanks for watching. Don't forget you can check out I'm struggling. You can check me out on stream at twitch.tv/CalebGames here, where I usually stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays starting between 9 and 10 a.m. I love you, YouTube, and I'll see you next time.